Take air for instance. Its justification lies in its blowing. Truly speaking, whatever has the capacity of carrying or blowing anything is called air in the pervasive sense. The vibrational force whereby the microcosm or unit mind receives or projects inferences, tanmatras, is really nothing but air. Thus the intrinsic meaning of air is prana. The English words force or vital energy may both be used in the sense of prana. It is with the help of prana or vital energy that you hear, taste, smell, walk or see. The same vital energy, ensconced in the body, goes on performing different functions. It is with the help of this vital energy, which is the collective state of the tenfold manifestations of differently active airs, that the different kinds of forms of the microcosmic world are maintained. Similarly, one supreme being, externalized in different bearings, is keeping intact the structures of various forms as their sole witness. Suryo yata sarva lokasya shakshurna lipyate shakshusharbhaya doshaye ikashdata sarva bhutantarama nalipyate loka dukena bhaya. He is like the sun. The sun is the eye of the entire world. How does the knowledge of external objects occur? It occurs when the light waves emanating from those objects hit your eyeballs. What is the source of light waves that carry the form tanmatras of those objects? The sun. The sun is the apparent cause of each of the latent forces of the solar system. So by whatever light you see objects, its chief cause is the sun, and so the sun is the greatest eye of the solar system. You could not have seen or visualized anything with your eyes if there were no sun-begotten light waves or any other transformed force waves from the sun. Without the help of the all-seeing eye of the sun, our worldly eyes cannot function at all. But suppose you are unable to see an object due to any eye disease, will you then blame the sun for it? No, in the case your eyes are to be blamed, the sun is innocent. The flaw in your eyes does not jeopardize the sun's all-seeingness. Similarly, in spite of Supreme Brahma being the supreme director of all minds, and the superlatively brilliant reflector on all men's plates, if your mental plate is faulty, and if due to his expression is not beautifully manifest in your heart, then the fault lies with you, not with Brahma. Just as an ocular defect does not implicate the sun, similarly a mental defect does not implicate Brahma. If you perform a mean act, meanness will come in your mind. If you look at ignoble things, ignoble sentiments will be awakened in your mind. The sun, however, has nothing to do with these flaws. It will remain as pure as ever. It is the father of all eyes. To it, all objects will remain the same. Similarly, no fault of any individual can touch the Paramapurusha, the Supreme Being, the soul of all entities, who has been irradiating every individual entity. If at all anybody or anything is to blame, it is the reflecting unit mind. Pleasure and pain are enjoyed and endured in that very unit mind. So, in spite of Brahma being very intimately associated with the unit entities, he does not become involved in any way with their pleasure or pain, and yet he has been constantly showering his boundless kindness on microcosms without discrimination or reservation. He is the Lord of limitless mercy. If the unit entity can understand but a particle of his generosity, all ignominies of the unit mind will be immediately eradicated. Yet people do not try to understand it. To understand his generosity is indeed what is called sadhana. If you do not do sadhana, the fault is yours. Do not try to incriminate the ocean of mercy, the Parama Brahma, on account of your own pleasure and pain. Eko vashi sarva bhutanta ratma ekam rupam bahutaya karoti tamat tamatmashtam yenu pashyanti dira tesham sukham shashvatam netarasham. He is the Lord of all. This creation, this universe, is completely under his control, is being controlled by his mere nod. Not a single lapse can be found anywhere. With the one who is the authority or controller, there are normally two more factors. One is the system of control, and the other is the control object. The rhythmic gracefulness of his playful creation is this crude, subtle, and causal universe. Through his sportive flow, he continues to create this heteromorphic world, but in spite of his being the creator of many, he himself, however, is one. He is unique. The infinite entity is never more than one, or else his characteristic self is jeopardized. He is infinite, and characteristically, he abides in the Atman's soul. He is the supreme knower, the supreme witness of even those Jivatmas, unit souls that are ensconced as the knowers of the unit minds. Truly speaking, in spite of his all-pervasive witnessship, he is not completely spiritually fulfilled. The reason is that the unit minds are but individual unit forms and the cruder expressions of his own great mind, and the unit Atmas, or so-called individual souls, are reflected of him on countless unit mental plates. That is why the he of subjectivity, Katribhava, the unit mind in objective status, Karma Bhava, the observable world, and the unit Atmas are, spiritually speaking, nothing but his own manifestative distinctions. He certainly abides in you, whatever your every act. He is very near you, just as the shadow remains attached to the sun's rays. Similarly, he keeps himself in closest contact with your entity. Shayato pao brahmavido vadanti, i.e., the knowers of Brahma say that he remains with the unit entities, just as the shadow remains with the sun's rays. One who is carefully introspective, by dint of sadhana, intuitional practice, certainly attains him, and attaining that eternal sea of bliss, enjoys everlasting happiness. Eating a rasagola, a delicious sweet, you become happy, but no matter how great a stock of rasagolas you have, some day it will be exhausted, won't it? To attain lasting happiness from rasagolas, you need an unlimited number of them. But this is not possible, for nothing in this evolved world is limitless. Only he is unlimited. So it is only by attaining him that unlimited happiness can be attained. No matter how much you enjoy him, he can never be exhausted. Those who crave for unit objects to attain happiness can never attain unlimited happiness, never. Nityo nityanam shetana shetana nameko bahunam yo vidadati kamam. Tamatmashtam yenu pashyanti dhirashtesham shanti shashvati nitaresham. The things that we know to be eternal in the world are not actually so, quote, eternal, means only that which is established in its own characteristic bearing, which has no stigma of relativity in its spatio-temporal personal bearing. The only eternal entity is Purusha. In common language, what we call conscious entities are not really so. They are only the crude manifestations of consciousness, the unchangeable witness consciousness that lies behind the manifested, externalized states of consciousness, or behind these apparently conscious entities is Purusha himself. Behind these transient and inanimate entities, which are commonly accepted as eternal and conscious, abides the one and only true, eternal or conscious entity, who by virtue of his own will and consciousness has been evolving these various transient and inanimate objects, and constantly providing each of them with various necessities according to their longings and needs. For each living organism born in his psychic body at any time, He keeps suitable food and other things necessary for that organism's existence. In the ancient world, shrubs and forests were created before the birds which feed on them. Since babies need milk, it is provided beforehand in the mother's breast. Prior to the advent of any kind of organism, he creates the suitable atmosphere and environment for it well in advance. He does not do anything by whim. Every act, every thought wave of his is meaningful. Not even an ant's life is useless in his world. He carefully makes all the provisions necessary for the preservation of an ant, and those provisions precede the ant's advent. The Yama said, Nachiketa, try to know him. Knowest thou what he is? He is thee. Those of calm intellect, who see him within themselves, alone attain eternal bliss. To them alone belongs abiding peace.